Hey friend, welcome to the Badass is the New Black podcast, where our motto is done is better than perfect. I'm Chrissy Chin, here on a mission to help you grow your business online, turn your leads into lifelong customers, and scale to six figures and beyond so you can work less and enjoy and earn a whole lot more. Most importantly, I'm a laid-back wife, a mom, a friend who started as a peds nurse turned network marketer, and now a serial entrepreneur. This podcast is for ambitious people with an idea, a vision, but no idea how to get there. On this podcast, I'll give actionable steps to keep you moving forward while you learn new business strategies, better systems and processes, marketing, sales, all the things you need to build and scale a blissful business that keeps your pocketbooks growing. Grab a beverage, open up your notes app, and let's get to it. I want to welcome Beate Chelette to the podcast. She's a growth architect and the founder of the Women's Code. She's passionate about building business that serves others, makes an impact instantaneously to create abundance. Now, I love her story because she went from a stressed out, overwhelmed single mother and an immigrant in America with over $135,000 in debt, but fighting her decade through bad luck, she failed her way to astounding success, figured out how to build yet another business and successfully sold that business, which is where everything completely changed for her. So I love that story. It's definitely kind of, that the rags maybe to riches kind of story that I know some people don't feel like they have, but I just love that that is your story. So I just want to welcome you here. We're lucky to have you on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Chrissy. I'm really excited to be here and share some insights and hopefully inspire some people to do the same thing.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. That's what we're here about on the podcast. So I love one of the things that you say a lot is there are a million ways to be successful and you only need to find one, yours, your way. And so I really wanted to play off of that on this episode today and really just have this goal of helping our amazing listeners, because they are really amazing, just have them get more clarity through what we're talking about today and what we're saying on their way to find their own success. I know so many times we're comparing ourselves to others and we see these successful people and how they're doing it. And we think, oh, I have to do it that way to be successful. And what you just said there is that's not it. There's a million ways to be successful. Let's find your way. So do you think we can help them do that today?
100%. And I like that you pulled that particular quote out as sort of our North Star for our interview here, is because it pains me sometimes when I see that somebody has these ideas that are really ideas of other people. And then they get upset with themselves that they can't hit all the markers that other people have already hit, even though they're very successful. And I'm going to just give you one example so we maybe establish this right from the front. So I was doing a mentoring session yesterday, and there was this young man, and he's been struggling to get this thing going. And then finally I looked at him, I said, okay, so wait a minute. I said, so you said you needed to get the sales process in place, and you did that. You said you wanted to get your team on board, and you did that. You said you wanted to get that big client. You got that big client. He wants to train now 6 people with you. I said, what exactly is your problem? And he goes, well, I am thinking about, I'm worried. And I'm like, but that's not even true. It is time for you to put your big boy pants on. And I said that exactly like that, and own it. Because everything you asked for is happening. You just still running around looking at all the other people and comparing on whether what you just did is measuring up to some book you read. I said, just let that go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know, and I've used books and talks and podcasts and coaches to help guide me in the things that I'm doing. But I think you're 100% hitting, the nail on the head there, that you have to be able to understand that it isn't going to look exactly like somebody else's. And it's the people that have figured out like, okay, I'm going to use this as a guide and I'm going to start working. But if I need to modify and tweak because I'm a different person, which we're all unique, then it's okay that I do that. And I think the people that understand and figure that out are really the ones that are generating more success.
100%. Yeah. 100%, Chrissy. I'm sure you see this in your work all the time when you help people to build their websites and their messages and, their funnels and flushing out on how they show up in the world. You've never done the same thing twice the same way. We always look at how do we connect our passion? What makes us really excited about something? And then we take our personality. And I find that most of the time, the stuff people try to apologize for is their greatest strength. And I'm going to say that one more time, right? That when you have this thing where you go, well, I don't know, I'm really shy, or man, I'm just, I always blah, 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 I can't help it. I just vomit the information out. That's just my personality. I wished I could be different. No, 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 no. You double down. We never back off on that which makes you different. And then you figure out how to hook it with the passion. And that is the unique value proposition in my world. And as a growth architect, we call this the unapologetic value proposition, the UVP, because the way you show up in the world needs to be intricately connected to who you are as a person, because that is then, I think, that's the glow you see when somebody speaks about what they do, because they go, you know what? That's me. That's how I do it. That's how I show up in the world. These are the people I help. This is my method. And guess what? That's who my client is, and everybody else. I'm going to help you figure out who else might be right for you. But this is my tribe. These are my people. This is where I have my resonance.
And so what do you think the first step to someone who's feeling like, well, how do I figure that out? I definitely notice that the people that kind of go through strides a little bit faster are the people that have done a lot of self-development work on themselves. They kind of know what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. They know about who they are, what they enjoy. So what is your, first recommendation to someone who's kind of like, okay, after you just said that, I still feel lost about how to figure out like what my thing is. What's your recommendation for that person?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things that that we can do immediately. So number one is clean thinking, a mindset, hands down. Everyone I speak to who is anything or has achieved any kind of level of success says the exact same thing. Clean thinking. The first thing they do when they get up in the morning, they do not watch the news. But they listen to a podcast, they read something in a book, they listen to music. I do this with real discipline, that I listen to something every single day that keeps reminding me that my old program, my limited thinking, my middle class upbringing, my failures are not things that are defining me, but what defines me is where I am today and where I want to go. These are the only two things I have control over: where I'm at today and where I want to go. So I think number one is for anybody who's dragging that unspecified anchor of frustration, anxiety, depression, failure, not good enough, imposter syndrome, whatever that is, there really is a very simple way. And I'm not a psychologist, but there's a simple way to let that go. And that is the habit of mindset. And so I'm sure you've done this, I'm sure you have a podcast on that. So we'll just direct them in the show notes to that, right, to make sure that they have some guidelines to that. So number one, mindset. The second piece really is strategy. So I've developed something, Chrissy, that I call the 5-star success blueprint. And I'm going to share that so everybody knows what the steps are to really building this business. So the first step is the idea. So you got to know what is the overall idea. What is it that you do? Who wants it? Why is it needed? Why are you the right person to do it? And who's your buyer? The second thing is the offer. Once you know what you're selling and who you're selling to and who you are, then and only then can you design the offer. It is not the other way around. Now, when you have the offer, you build the systems and the processes and the strategy, which is a lot of what I do: growth plans, journey maps, strategic planning, really figuring out how am I going to get this message out in the world? How do I get my leads? How do I, plan this consistently? Then you go to the next step. Who is going to be doing this? Now you're building your team. Who do I need to bring in? Am I going to hire someone like Chrissy to do that? Am I going to hire somebody like Beate to do that? Am I going to do this on my own? Am I going to hire a VA? Whatever it is, you build your team now. And that brings you to the fifth part of the 5-star success blueprint. That is you as a leader. Now, when you have all these other things in place, now you need to step into leadership and run the show and not do every single piece yourself. So this idea, and I'm just going to say this because this comes up, Chrissy, all the time too, of this addiction to confusion is a false notion. I think it's a cop out. It is like, I don't know, I'm just not good at it. I don't understand why. Just cut the crap. I don't buy it for a second. You do know. You do know, otherwise you wouldn't ask the question. You just don't trust that the decision you are about to make is the right one. So you keep looping in confusion because you don't want to make a decision. So make the damn decision.
Yeah. I do have a podcast on decision making and being indecisive because it is a thing. And we are always looking for validation in what we're doing. And so, I think I talk about in there, like, yeah, you have to trust yourself, trust your gut, trust, you are smart, right? Ask yourself intelligent questions and just trust it and make the decision. And guess what? If it takes you down a bit of the wrong path, you're going to figure that out pretty quickly and you can turn that around and start going in the other direction. So I think that is huge. I think as humans, we just really tend to want validation for everything. And so that's natural for us to second guess ourselves and be looking for someone to validate that. But I do think, yeah, if you can make that decision and just be okay with it without seeking all this validation from everyone else that you're making the right decision, then you'll be moving in the right direction faster. And then if you are in a space, in a place where you have a trusted person, a coach or someone or a community, and you really just need that validation, just throw that idea in there and just say, just someone validate that I'm going on the right path. Someone just give me a yes so I can move forward, right? And just know that's what you need and ask for it and move on. So I love that.
And don't ask your mom or your dad.
No, don't ask your mom. Or maybe even not your husband. I don't know. My husband and I, for a while, and he's going to listen to this. He listens to all the podcasts. Hi, honey. But we would always get in arguments when we start talking about business. And so we're like, okay, we both need to, maybe it was me, I need to grow and not be so defensive when I think like you're trying to tell me how to run my business. So now we don't really talk about business much. So yeah, maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your spouse, maybe not, but yeah, go to the people in your community, your coach, your other peers doing the same thing.
Yeah, 100%. And the second piece I would like to add to that is, because big part of my story is failing my way to success. And I think the attachment as failure as something that's really bad, that is another really critical piece that I really want to encourage everyone who's listening to let go. And I compare this. So if we were, Chrissy, you and I, we're driving and we're in the car, and for some reason my GPS is outdated. And now instead of the road getting us where we want to go, we're in a cul-de-sac. Neither one of us would get out of the car, throw ourselves on the ground, call ourselves a failure, throw a temper tantrum, and spend, an hour or two on it. We just go, damn, that GPS, needs to be updated. We get back in the car and we find another way. Mm-hmm. So the attitude about attachment to failure is proof that you are a loser, that you need to let go, like immediately. Because in entrepreneurship and in business building, and in life, these are just markers on the road where somebody stands with a stop sign and says, this is not the right way. And all you need to do is go, oh, it's not the right way, and find another way to do it. But people stand in front of that stop sign and they just spend hours and days and weeks and months and years in front of that stop sign, and they yell at it, go move. The stop sign is not going to move. You have to move.
Yeah, I think that's a quality that people need. If they don't have it already, they need to get it, this problem solving skill, right? And if you're not good at it, or that's not your first, I'm a problem solver by nature. So that's just what I do. I start something, or I see where it can go, and I see that end vision of, what I really want. And I say, all right, I'm just going to start going. And when I get to a stop sign, I'm just going to figure it out. Can I jump over it? Can I go around it? Do I need to do a few circles? What am I going to do? And then move past it and keep going. And then I do see a lot of people with the struggles of, well, I don't know how I'm going to get there. I'm sure this is going to happen and I'm not going to know what to do. And I think this is going to stop me and I'm not going to know how to get around that. And so if you're not a natural problem solver, kind of tell yourself, okay, I have to be a problem solver. Whenever I come across a problem, I just have to figure out what's the next step. How do I get past the stop sign? So what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that are very simple. If I were to meet you and we talk and I'm going, Chrissy's bloody smart. She's got it going on. And I'm going to say, hey, Chrissy, why don't we collaborate on this big idea? And you've never done it before, but we run the numbers and it might be a $500,000 payoff. Would you be able to figure out how to do that?
Yeah, 100%.
100%. So it's the confidence that when somebody pays you that money, trust me, you will figure it out. Mm-hmm. It is sometimes in mindset work, when you go into the deep part of the mindset work, we have control over two pieces: where we start and where we want to go. How we get there is really up to God, spirit, universe, mm-hmm. Another power. Because if you knew how to get there, you'd already be doing it. But this judgment of every step that's coming toward you, and often opportunities are challenges in disguise, is that you are judging that the execution of the plan that you set, where you just put the order in, is not according to your liking. That is what I think sets people back on a huge, huge, huge step. Because if I say, I want to grow my tribe by 100,000 people, then I meet you, Chrissy, and you say, well, you need to do this program and you need to do my one-on-one and you need to do my whatever piece you offer. And here is the investment. And then I'm going to go and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. She's charging me. Well, of course she's charging you for it. That's what she does. So you said that's what you wanted. The solution is in front of you. And then you go, I asked for it. I wanted it. It's right in front of me. No. If you say it like that, doesn't even make any sense. So you have to remember that the things that you're asking for are showing up, but they're not presented to you on a silver platter with a bow on it, where somebody politely asks you, are you okay with the format we are presenting this to you? It never works that way. So it's going to show up and then you're going to go and you say to yourself, seriously, where am I going to find the money from? But I like Chrissy. I can see in her track record, she does this over and over and over and over again, right? People talk very highly about her. I know she can do this for me. I find the money. I'm making the investment because that is where I want to go. And I trust that the money will show up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the difference between, I think, the addiction to confusion and action taking and problem solving. If that's what you want and that's what you said you want, and you start to go down that path and that shows up, you'll figure it out.
Yeah. And circles back to mindset and having that abundance mindset. And I'm a firm believer in manifestation. And if you want it, it will come to you. But when it, like you said, when it comes to you, you have to be open to follow through on that next thing that's needed to make it really come to you.
100%.
Yeah. And you had mentioned, so when you asked me, if we were going to do, and this was going to bring in $500,000, would you find a way? And I was just so confidently yeah, we definitely find a way. I want to be totally authentic and be guys, listen, there's definitely, after I say that so confidently, there's probably, a few thoughts in my head of oh crap, can we really do this? Okay, how are we going to do this? Oh my gosh, I hope I can figure this out. So it's not just, and I show up confidently and I am confident in saying yes, but that doesn't mean I don't have these thoughts, and we all don't have these thoughts, even if we've worked on mindset and we've mastered our mindset and we know, these things come back and haunt us. There's definitely those thoughts of, ooh, can I do this? oh, how am I going to do this? But you have to just keep moving forward.
You said that really well. And an important point to make. It is not that successful people don't have these thoughts. It's just that they know how to control them, and they don't allow that thought. There's a wonderful meditation practice called Satnam Rasayan, where it is about understanding that a thought has no validity unless you give it to the thought. So you learn to give, you just look at it and say, oh, it's just a thought. It's not true. It's not real. It's not a fact. It's just a thought. So then you ask, what's the truth in this? Well, have you done it before? Yes. Have you figured things out before? Yes. Have you solved problems before? Yes. Have you made mistakes and recovered from them? Yes. Good. You're good to go.
I love that. So kind of my whole takeaway from this is, going back to this ability to find your own way. So I'll rephrase the quote that you said. There are a million ways to be successful. You only need to find one, which is yours. And so kind of just looking at everything we've talked about, it's really just kind of being flexible to veer off of the path that you think maybe you should be on, to try new things, be willing to fail, pick yourself back up, get those negative thoughts out and keep moving forward. Are there any other, nuggets, tips, things that you want to add to that to make sure that people are kind of on this right path to really figuring out what they're unique at and that they can do and move forward for success?
Yeah, I probably would add to that I look a lot at the three pieces of mindset, skill set, and action set. And it always starts with a mindset, really holding yourself accountable to the quality of your thoughts, what you allow your brain to be occupied with, how you start the day, how you end the day, and who you surround yourself with, to make sure that the input into your brain is as high a level as it possibly can be. The second piece is, do you have the skills to need to get where you want to go? So if I wanted to build an online community and I come to you and you offer something where I can learn that, learn the skill. You got to have to learn the skill. If you don't have the skill, you have to figure out how to learn the skill. Because if you don't know how to learn the skill, it's time or money. You pay either way. You just have to decide what's more valuable. Yeah. If you figure it out on your own, it's time, and that is money, or you pay the money now and you get there much faster. That's a decision that you make as a person and as a business owner. And then finally, it is the action set. Are you then having the discipline to continuously execute on the things that you are executing? And I think most of the time, the mindset and the action set are the two pieces where people get caught, is because they either go back to their old programming, because I call it, Chrissy, the USB port. So the original USB port program runs all the time. Now you learn something new, you put another port in, it overrides the program. The minute you take that new USB port out, the old program runs again. You have to be really mindful of that all the time. And then the actions that you do have to be these deliberate, consistent actions. And that is just something you constantly have to fine tune. And that's where, the detachment from failure is really important. So get back to these three things. If you're listening to this and you go like, I don't even know where I am at. Think about, is it mindset, skill set, or action set where you're looping, and then deal with that first.
I love that. I think we're going to have to just end there because that was amazing. And I'm excited to go back and re-listen to this episode as like the student and just retake all of that information in. So what were the last three things you said? Mindset, skill set, action set, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I want you guys, that is your task for today. We take imperfect action here every time we listen to a podcast episode. So I want you to go and think about those three things. And what do you need? Is it mindset that you're struggling with that's holding you up on everything? Is it your skill set? You don't know how to do maybe these technical things. How can we get you there faster to learn? And is it action? Are you taking action? And if you're not, I bet you it's because of the mindset thing. So let's just start at mind. If you're clueless, I just want you to start at mindset. Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for being here. I feel honored to have you on the podcast. What you shared was just really knowledgeable stuff that I know my listeners are going to absolutely love. So thank you for being here, spending your time with us. And we have a free offering, right, for them. I want them to keep following you. So why don't you tell them where they can find you to continue to connect with you and this free gift that you have?
Absolutely, yes. So you can find me at Beate Chelette or just search for The Growth Architect. And I'm on Instagram under Beate Chelette and on all social media channels. And the gift that I have for your audience, Chrissy, is because I love strategy and I am the growth architect after all. So part of that first step of the 5-star success blueprint is figuring out who your ideal client is. So I have a free gift. It's called Airtight Avatar. You just go to airtightavatar.com and I'll show you in 30 minutes, 45 minutes, how to really identify who your ideal client is and how you use a method that I call crawl into their heads to really understand what makes them tick. And the way I've designed it, it's done for you. So you print out the guide, and all you do is you take a pen and you make check marks, right? So at the end of this, you will have your airtight avatar. You will be very clear who you are selling to and who your first ideal client is.
I love that. And we need to circle back because that was the thing that you said. You need to know this before you do anything else, before you create the offer. Like with our Digital Duplication Academy students, that's something that we focus on first, right? You have to know that before you can move forward. So you guys go grab this freebie. We'll have all of the links in the show notes. So if you can't remember anything, just go to the show notes and all the links will be there. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you and your time. And I know we'll chat again soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Gosh, that conversation has me all fired up now. Just thinking about what are the things that I need to go back and revisit, because I don't care what level you're at in your business. There's always going to be one of those things that we talked about: mindset, sharpening your skills, or your action, which I kind of lump strategy into there, that need a bit more attention. Every level that we reach has its own new set of challenges. And you might have mastered maybe the skills at level 1, but we don't stop at level 1 here. We go on to the next level. And so do you need new skills for level 2? Or maybe you've leveled up, but your mindset hasn't leveled up with you, right? And so we need to go back and focus on mindset. So when in doubt, almost everything stems from mindset or your beliefs. So it's really important to go back to that and work on mindset. And speaking of mindset, I want to invite you to a very special challenge that I am participating in with my dear friend, Brad Bizjack. He is hosting a 10-day mindset challenge called the Success Accelerator. Now, this challenge is going to be a game changer for your business. It will 100% accelerate your success. 10 days, 10 challenges, daily prizes, giveaways, coaching calls. This is totally free. And it's going to help you cut your journey to success in half. And I'm going to do it with you. So I want you to go to thechrissychin.com/success accelerator. And there you are going to find the information to join his challenge, but I'm going to do it alongside you. We are getting started together on February 21st, and it's going to run until the 2nd. So if you're listening to this a couple days after that, you can still sign up anyway. If you're catching this in the future, don't worry, still go to that page. I'm going to have some mindset training from me that you can take advantage of since you missed this challenge. If you haven't missed it, hop over to that page, thechrissychin.com/success accelerator, and get registered for this challenge. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you got some value out of this episode, I would love some support. And the best way to do that, so I can keep showering you with loads of actionable tips, is to hit that subscribe button. Leave a review or a comment if you're on YouTube, and share this podcast with a friend. And when you share it with a friend on social, please tag me so I can reshare your share in my stories. It's been an absolute pleasure hanging out. I appreciate the heck out of you for showing up. And now it's time for you to take imperfect action so you can work less and enjoy and earn a whole lot more.